Hey everyone, I have stumbled upon a trick that will help you grow the rarest houseplants that you've only dreamed of. Well, you know what they say, rarity often breeds obsession, and the fact is that when it comes to rare houseplants, the scarcity of them and trying to find them can drive some people bananas. But what is it about rare houseplants that we're so obsessed with? Is it the beauty? Is it just kind of the look and feel of their foliage? I mean, it's a million different things, right? Here's the thing though. Rare houseplants have a way of captivating us, but what makes them so sought after? One of the biggest challenges people face when trying to grow rare houseplants is sourcing them in the first place. You might find yourself scouring online marketplaces, specialty stores, or even venturing into the world of plant rescues just to get your hands on that coveted species. And once you do, there's the added pressure of providing the perfect environment for your new addition to thrive. I have been there before, just like many of you folks, and that's why I wanted to start things off with a poll question that I posed to you on my YouTube community poll page. And I asked you in that poll, I asked you folks where you source amazing discounts on plants. Which is your go to? Well, here's the response 10% of you said Palm Street, which is that nifty app. I don't know if you've ever checked it out. 27% said Facebook Marketplace. 16% of you choose Etsy. And 46% of you said other. In terms of other, Kim says Craigslist, baby. And Kukar says offer up. That is one that I have never heard of before, offer up. So definitely something that I'm going to look into. But if you have any other suggestions, please leave them in the comments below because I'm really curious. I mean, I go to like the Steve's Leaves, NSE Tropical. I'll look on our local Facebook page group here in Denver, Colorado. And oftentimes, every so often I'll find some really good stuff. So oftentimes these rare house plants require very specific conditions, and getting it wrong can be devastating. It's not uncommon to see enthusiasts investing in elaborate lighting systems or temperature controlled greenhouses just to accommodate their prized possessions. Look, here's the thing. Yes, I am guilty of, maybe spending a little bit too much money on my grow lights, but the fact of the matter is that I just want them to thrive. But you don't have to spend $1 million or even $1,000 or a couple hundred to get your plants to thrive because there are simple ways of going about all of this. But first, I do need to tell you about this because another big thing is humidity. That is a big, big part of all of this. Many rare houseplants hail from tropical regions like Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, other parts of Central and South America, where the air is thick with moisture. Replicating these conditions in a home environment can be tricky to say the least. And let's not forget about pests, because those pesky insects can decimate an entire houseplant collection, especially rare houseplants, because man, oh man, do they like those rare houseplants just as much as we do. In fact, I just did a video on one of my philodendron that is dealing with thrips, but it's doing better. That's the good news, and I haven't seen them on it in over a week and a half, so I am so happy about that. But finally, we have to pay attention to the everlasting threat of overwatering our rare houseplants because some of them really love a lot of water, others do not. I mean, like literally just do not at all. And yeah, it is easy to get caught up in the excitement of nurturing your new plant, and you forget that too much love can be a bad thing. Rare houseplants often require a more nuanced approach to watering, and striking the right balance is incredibly crucial. So you're probably like, okay, great, get on with the whole thing. What does it take to really nurture and allow for rare houseplants to thrive inside your home? Well, we need to start with bright indirect light. Because bright indirect light is what most of them really want, but not direct sunlight because that will scorch their delicate leaves. You'll also need to maintain a consistent temperature, usually between 65 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. I did put Celsius up here on the screen for you folks as well, but you'll also want to have a slight drop in temperature at night. I know with a lot of my house plants, like if I have it at 70 degrees during the day, usually 65 at night, a 5-degree temperature drop really helps a lot of them thrive because, that's what they're used to out in nature. And yes, as I said, humidity is also crucial. With most rare houseplants thriving in environments with 50 to 70% relative humidity, you can achieve this easily by placing, let's say, a pot on a tray filled with water and pebbles or using a humidifier. I have a couple huge humidifiers in my living room in the main plant area. And what I do is I pretty much just drop them down during the day, and sometimes even just shut them off altogether because in nature, there wouldn't be as much humidity during the day for tropical plants as the sun's out. But at night, I really start to turn those babies up and get it to like 65, 75%. But I also make sure that there is a lot of air movement because that is crucial when you're dealing with humidity, especially in your home. And when it comes to watering, it is all about finding that sweet spot. Not too much, not too little, but you have to keep in mind each species is different. Some might require more watering, others not so much. Like this philodendron Jose Bueno behind me, it's actually looking really good right now. But you know what? I haven't watered it in like 2.5 weeks, and I probably should do that. So make sure to research each rare plant species that you get. One game changing tip that can significantly boost the growth and health of rare houseplants is aeroponics by suspending the roots in the air and misting them with a nutrient rich solution. You can provide your plant with a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients. Now, this method allows for more efficient absorption and can lead to faster growth and stronger roots. Another trick up your sleeve that you should always be cognizant of is a really well draining potting mix, like a really good one. A chunky aeroid soil mix, to be exact. A chunky aeroid soil mix is great for houseplants like your philodendron, your alocasia, your monstera, your anthurium actually will really thrive in it as well. So you're probably wondering, well, Kevin, what is in a chunky aeroid soil mix? Well, on the side of your screen, you'll see here that it is orchid bark, cocoa coir, worm castings, horticultural charcoal, perlite, and some sphagnum moss, as well as, some regular tropical soil that you can kind of blend together and create just this really nice, breathable, and perfect blend of a potting mix for those plants, especially those that fall under the Araceae family. Like I mentioned, your philodendron, your pothos, your anthurium, your alocasia, etc., because their roots like to move around and they do not want to be stuck in a dense potting medium because, as we know, what is the number one killer of houseplants? Well, my friends, that is overwatering. And when you have that dense soil, like, your regular houseplant potting mix, man, oh man, does that stuff take a while to dry out. I've done a video on a chunky aeroid soil mix specifically, and you can click up in the corner to watch that because it'll really help you educate yourself on really what you should put into it. And the ingredients you can get really in a lot of different places. So easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, and finally, consider using like a propagation dome if you haven't heard of them before, because this could really help your plants out, your rare tropical plants out a ton. It's pretty much like creating a microclimate around your plant. So it gives it that humidity and just kind of replicates what a tropical environment would be. Let's say in like a Colombia or a Brazil. I mean, that's what the plants really want, and that's what you need to give them. This will certainly help maintain humidity and protect your plant from drafts, which is another big thing to watch out for, and those pesky pests that we all hate so much. But yeah, drafts are another huge thing. Like, for instance, here in North America, in Denver, Colorado, we are in the midst of the beginning of winter, and whenever we open up our front door, when there's like cold temperatures and so forth, like recently had been like in the 30s and really kind of feeling more like 15 to 19 degrees Fahrenheit because of the winds that we get from the Rocky Mountains. So my husband and I decided that we're going to use the back door instead of opening up the front door because that draft can really come in and make, oh man, a mess of my tropical plants that we have in our front living room display. So make sure that they're away from drafts and also your heating vents. That is another big thing. If you have hot air blowing in on your plants, not only is that going to make them very uncomfortable, but it's going to wipe away a lot of the humidity that you're trying to build around them to give them that extra strength. So, by incorporating these techniques that I just went over for you, and they're really simple techniques, of course, you can dive into more. And I'll put a lot of different information in the description of this video to help you folks out who really want a more advanced deep dive into rare tropical plants. But my biggest suggestion is to always research. Do your research on the rare tropical plants that you're looking to purchase and incorporate into your home environment because man, oh man, early on in my plant journey, I did not do that. And I ended up spending like, oh gosh, close to $400 on a Queen Anthurium. Take a look at this picture because, oh, it was so beautiful and I really wanted it to thrive. But, I was a fool and I did not do my research and understand the humidity and watering that it needed. And so it unfortunately passed away, like I think a month and 2 weeks later, but initially really started to crisp up and die off not too well. But also it turned out that even though the only leaf, which was beautiful on it, died off, I didn't realize, because again, I didn't do my research, that the plant could actually grow more leaves had I kept that chunk. But again, I'm a fool, and there went a couple $100 and what was such a beautiful plant. But if you look at my King Anthurium now, woof, I did so much research into this plant, and man, oh man, it continues to really thrive in the environment that I've created with it. In fact, that brand new leaf that is growing in, now mind you, the largest leaf on it is 28 and a half inches, but that new leaf growing in, which really started to grow in the last week and a half, is already at 23 and a half inches. And because I'm not getting as much sunlight, like natural sunlight in our western facing windows right now, it's really just being grown with a grow light that I have above it, a Sensi grow light, and it loves it. So it's actually growing towards the grow light, and that's what's causing it to really balloon in size. That and the fact that I have that really nice humidifier over next to it and giving it that humidity that it really wants. Another thing too, by the way, with Anthurium, especially like rare ones like an Anthurium veitchii, the King Anthurium, is to learn and do your research on it because I learned from that that you should put like a little layer of sphagnum moss on top of the soil because that also helps keep the moisture and humidity in that plant that it really wants, especially with its really thick roots and arrow roots that pop out of it. So again, just do your research and you will be able to create such a beautiful environment for your rare plants that you really want to include in your collection. But I'm curious to know, like, if you have a really nice rare plant collection, what did you do to really make them thrive? Let me know in the comments below because I'm always curious. And then also, like, did you at first struggle the way that I did? Because that is another huge thing that I'm always curious about. Because keep in mind, with rare tropical plants, it is trial and error, but you can make it a whole lot better and easier of a situation again if you do your research, learn what kind of light and temperature needs that the specific plant really wants. Because, baby, you really got to give it what it wants, basically. So, anyways, my rare plants, they get irritated with me sometimes if I forget to water them on a certain day. But other ones are like, hey, you know what? It's cool. Do whatever, man. Because some are easy and some are difficult. Again, if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell for more fun and interesting planty content just like this. Hey, I appreciate you guys so much for joining in, and also take a look at this video up in the corner, because if you really want to see like what I was dealing with pests recently on one of my prized philodendron that is one of the rarest and pain in the butt type of plants to deal with, you should really check it out, because you'll learn a lot about pests and how to really deal with them, because simple household products can sometimes do the trick. I'll see you guys in the next video.